We can start off with a little something smooth. Maybe. There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Gaming Workshop. Yes, this is here where we talk about gaming and specifically the DayZ Underground server for the game DayZ, which is what we all play and enjoy and love and sometimes hate, but mostly love. Today is going to be an open topic day. Yeah, man, I got a few things to talk about, and I figured you do too, you know? I mean, I always come with all these pre-designed, topics and whatnot, and we bring people in to specifically talk about those things. Well, today, we're throwing all that out the window. Today, it's going to be total chaos. No, not really. But what we will do is talk about a few things. All you have to do is, let me pop this in here. Thank you very much, my friends, because you're always looking out for me. Let's do this way. Here is the Discord information. Hopefully, yes, there it is. Feel free to hop in. What we'll do is have you hop into the waiting room voice chat area. And when you do that, all right, if you do that, I'll ask you to pop a Q into the general chat. That way, I have kind of an idea of, what order to pull people in. And I will move you up into the live area. Although, this is kind of fun here. Let me make sure that I'm actually... You can hear me in the live area. There we go. I guess it, weird. I don't know if you can actually, if it's actually, coming through. There's always something going on. That's a little cray. So we're all good, though, here. We'll try it that way. Yeah. All right. There we go. That's better. Technical difficulties aside, we're going to have a great show today. Hope you guys have had a wonderful week. All right, let's get into this, shall we? Now, I will tell you, okay, guys, now check this out. When you do pop in here, okay, there are a couple of ground rules that I'm gonna ask you to keep in mind, okay? First of all, remember that this is not the place to air specific grievances against people, groups, or, what have you, okay? This is just a place for us to discuss. The idea, remember, of the Gaming Workshop is to give us all a place where we can come together and we can discuss the game that we play and the concepts involved, and sometimes relate them to real life and do all the, all these different things. But the idea is that we're here to be positive. And even if we bring up things that are kind of critical, or, we're a little criticism of, and that sort of thing, excuse me, we're going to be respectful. We're going to be civil. Okay. And one very specific caveat I want to express to you guys, okay, is that part of the reason why I didn't schedule a guest today is because I plan to bring up a few things that might be, a little controversial. And so I figured that if I am the only one talking about them necessarily, then it all gets to be on me. But the point of that is that you can see, how do I phrase this? It's entirely possible for you to bring undue attention to yourself out of game as well. Like you can get yourself in trouble if you get in DMs with somebody and call them a douchebag and they report you. You could be in, you could get into trouble for that. So what I'm going to ask you to do is just be smart with your comments, keep things civil. Don't be afraid to speak your mind, but just don't be a douchebag about it. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Yes, that was a joke. I'm not calling you a douchebag. Don't report me. It's all good. No. Anyway, so I've got some notes today, which is pretty unusual because usually I'm just like rolling around with whatever is going on. Let's go controversial. Yes, Alex, we're going to do that, but we're going to ease into things just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and start talking about a couple of things that have been on my mind lately. All right. And the first thing that I want to emphasize, okay, is that I highly respect our admin team. I think I've made that abundantly clear. All right. There's a lot of work that goes on in this game. Okay. So I want you to be sure to understand that if I'm critical of anything, okay, it's not of the admin team. All right. There are certain processes perhaps that I kind of feel like might be tweakable or might be something that we could maybe explain a little better, or at least, discuss, right? Because discussion, should be fair. but I'm not critical of the admin team in regards to how things are run, because what I know for a fact, okay, is that it's very, very difficult to be an admin in a situation like this. That's why we had a couple admins on a few weeks ago or a month ago. I wish I could have had it be a longer episode, but it's not easy to be an admin, and you're taking like your personal life, your personal time, your play time, time that you would spend enjoying yourself and trying to help, regulate the server, try to make sure that everybody's being fair with each other. All right. So it's not easy at all. And that's why I'm really not critical of the team. I'm not even critical of other groups, of players. Because, we've all got the same goal here. We want to have a place where, there can be a level playing field and where we can all play and we can engage with each other and tell stories and just have a good time. And, that's really what this is all about. So in that spirit, hey, what's up, guys? I just want to start by, let's see, how do I want to do this? Let's see. I'll tell you this right now, okay? It's really fantastic, all right, that you look in Discord, in the Doug Discord lately, you see people complimenting each other on the incredible roleplay experiences that we're all having. I mean, even me. I mean, I see barely anyone anymore. Everybody's moved all up north. Barely see anybody. Thank you for that follow, by the way. And, it's like even most of the encounters that I've had have been really great roleplay experiences. And I think this is fantastic, all right? But now that the community seems to be, adjusting itself more towards the organic role play that we've all actually expected it to be, maybe it's time to look a little bit at about what's going on out of character. I mean, look, because, you can't have a game like this where you have all these different people playing together without having some kind of out of character conflict or issues, okay? Now, of course, I'm going to talk about the reporting system and the things that, go on with this. Now, I have not talked to any admins about any of these processes other than what you may have seen on the admin show that we had a month ago. All right. And I specifically didn't ask questions because what I like to do is, I wanted to bring up some of these topics. They're pretty light, by the way. Don't freak out and start, grabbing your pitchforks or nothing. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff. But, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to get it out there. I know that admins watch the show. I'm not trying to put anybody under pressure or under the gun. Again, I chose not to invite anybody specifically on the show, okay? Because this is going to be a discussion, all right? And the thing of it is, yeah, I see you again. No, you're good. The thing of it is, all right, is that I encourage people, just as the admin team has, that whenever you feel slighted or you feel like, there may be something going on that just doesn't feel right, that you should report it. Okay. And that's absolutely 100% what I would support. I absolutely do, because the admins have access, and keep this in mind. They have access to information that we don't. And a lot of times, when you're involved with a situation, right, you've got your perspective, and then you've got your friends who are involved and they have their perspective. And sometimes, it's like, it looks like everything is like really going against you or something. And that's just because that's all you can see, and the admins, they get to talk to everybody, people will open up to them, either tell them the truth or not, or whatever, but they also have logs to support a lot of the things that they can look at. Now, again, I don't know specifically what all admins can see, what they can look up or any of that. Okay. I don't have access to that. I've chosen to not even try to be an admin, so I'm not looking for any of that. Oh, thank you for the host. Bring them all in. Bring them all in, man. Welcome to the gaming workshop. So with all of that in mind, okay, it feels like, now this is, again, just how it feels. Sometimes it feels like reporting can be a tactic for dealing with people when you can't deal with them in character, or you can't deal with them in the game in a way, or whatever. So I guess, because there's really nothing to say about it. I mean, we call it report culture, or the report meta, I mean, that's a phrase that's floated around. And it's definitely, not good for the game. Now, what I will tell you though, and I have faith in the admin team. Okay, otherwise I wouldn't play here, and that's something that I find very important. That if you don't have faith in the admin team and you can't find a way to have faith in the admin team, then do everybody a favor, man, and find somewhere else to play. I mean, I hate to be like that about it, but that's the bottom line, because the admins, again, are here to help us all get along. And so if you don't have faith in that, you're going to have a bad time. It's just inevitable. Okay. So hopefully you can find a way around that, because I like most of you guys and I really don't want to see anybody go. But, you know, it's like, back to the thing is, you know, when you report something, okay, you're opening a can of worms. It's almost like calling the cops in real life, you know? I mean, it's like illegal to smoke dope where you live, right? And somebody's coming over and giving you a hard time, and you're in your house smoking a lot of dope, and the cops show up, right? What's going to happen? You know, they're going to smell that. Now they're aware of a separate crime that's taken place in addition to the one you called about. So not only is the person that you're calling about possibly going to get in trouble, but you might get in trouble too, because you weren't doing necessarily the things that you were supposed to do. These kinds of things happen. I kind of look at being an admin on this server a little bit like being a cop in a way. I mean, I know that the degree of severity is different, you know, when you're dealing with real life issues versus issues in a video game. But I'd also like to talk a little bit about this, because this comes up a lot. You know, a lot of people feel like there's this issue with being innocent until proven guilty. And in fact, from the Doug website, the rules page, it literally says, we care about all of your reports, incidents, or concerns, and want to hear what you have to say. Every report will be taken into consideration and investigated, but we will not act upon them if no sufficient evidence is available. Okay. Players are to be seen as innocent until proven guilty. If we repeatedly receive valid reports that fall short just for not having suitable evidence, we will still make note of them in the Doug's naughty list. As notable rule breaks, minor infractions, or reports against players are archived in the naughty list. Okay. I understand. All right. Certain things here. Now, this is where it gets really tricky for me, because this is where, you know, like I was born before Google. Okay. So I'm used to like inferring things, deducing things, figuring things out for myself. Right. That's just the way I've been most of my life. So you're gonna have to bear with me here. But I kind of see this as like, you know, dealing with the police in a sense. You know, an admin who answers a ticket, okay, in my view, is not there to be judge and jury. They're not. They're there to be like the police officer. If there's like an incident that's going on, something that you know is affecting gameplay, or you know is so I expect them to do something about it, you know. And while they're investigating, you know, it kind of makes sense that they'll put you in a timeout, because get this. Or you can even look at it like in a business situation, you know, and a lot of times if HR comes to you and they're like, hey, you know, we're investigating you for possibly stealing all these things, you know, stealing the staplers. You're stealing all the staples in the business. They're not going to usually approach you that way. Usually what they'll do is if they suspect you of doing something that's disruptive to the company or harmful to the company, they will usually do something like either suspend you or maybe not even investigate you and not even let you know at all. All right. And I see a lot of these principles in play here on the admin team. And for, you know, to be honest with you, it's got to be difficult, right, to judge all this, because if you've got somebody who's genuinely misbehaving and out causing, you know, conflict and problems, you don't want to just leave those people in play, especially if they know they're being investigated, because they might, you know, decide to take it personally and escalate things even more, and then cause more of a bad time for the other people who are just trying to have fun. And then the next thing you know, it's like everything explodes, and, you know, and everything just became a whole lot worse. So then what do? You know, when you've got the situation where it's like you've got people that might be causing really bad problems, or, you know, taking advantage or cheating or whatever. You know, it's like, do you just tell them, hey, you know what, we're investigating you, tell me your side of, you know, and just let them stay in play? I don't know, man. I can kind of see both sides, because if it hits you, right, that you're being investigated, And then they go ahead and take you out, put you into the penalty box while they're investigating you. I can see why that would be negative, why that would feel negative, like I'm being punished for something I didn't do. And I'll tell you right now, for anybody who doesn't really think a 2-week ban is that big of a deal, I challenge you to stop right now without any preparation, without doing anything. Just stop playing for 2 weeks and see what happens. See all your stashes vanish. See all your, if your flag is stolen, see all your work just vanish. It's hard, okay? And I just wanted to express this point of view because I understand. And I'm willing to bet the admin team does too. I'm willing to bet probably most everybody understands. 2 weeks in game is like a lifetime. But where do we balance? Freedom and security? It's just like in real life. You can't have all freedom, or people will take advantage of each other, and you can't have all security, or nobody can do anything, right? So how do you balance that out? And I kind of feel like that's something that our admin team has to deal with like all the time. And again, this is why it's like, I would tell you right now, don't criticize the people, but we can always discuss the process, is kind of how I look at it. Because that's how we grow and we continue, to evolve, is by asking questions. But we can do that without being critical of the people, Even, I understand that people create the processes, but at the same time, it's not people that are the problem. I can tell you right now that people have talked to me lately about a particular group in game that they're concerned about. I'm going to go ahead and mention it because I feel comfortable in myself that I can do so without being overly critical. Obviously, I'm talking about the Rangers. Now, what I'm going to tell you about the Rangers right now is that this is a group of people who are just having to have fun too. All right. They're just people like you and me. They're not, trying to get away with anything or take things out of character and screw people over. None of that stuff's going on. The reason why I bring up the Rangers, and this is actually kind of a separate topic, is because a lot of us know right now that a lot of Rangers are on either the admin team or moderator team or whatnot. Okay. Now, first of all, I'm going to tell you right now, this is the same thing I've told everybody. If you have a problem with the new moderators or whatnot being all in the same group, then my question to you is, where was your unbanned application for moderation? Maybe you tried and maybe you're too young, or maybe there was like an issue here or there, but it's not like they sought out and said, oh, well, let's separate all the Ranger applications from all the rest, and we'll go ahead and approve all these, and then, oh, well, we don't have any more room. Sorry, guys. That's not how this went. I don't believe for a second that the group these guys were in played any part in their being selected. If anything, I would think them all being in the same group probably added extra scrutiny to the process. And keep in mind that going forward, people are like, oh, the moderators will eventually be admins. Yes, they might, but they also might not even be Rangers at the time. You never know what's going to happen in the next 6 months or longer. Come on, guys. I wouldn't say that there's anything underhanded going on in the slightest, nor would I even imply such, nor should you. Because, again, the Rangers would find it very, very boring if they were the only ones on the server. So it's like, not like that's what's going on here. It's just that these are the people that stepped up to do it, and they were likely the best candidates at the time. I could have done it. I know I've had plenty of people ask me to do it, and I just don't have time. Sorry, guys, maybe in 6 months or the next time they open it up, I might, but as of right now, I don't. So, that's just how I feel about that. And I don't want you guys to, I would rather, you guys try to be unbiased yourselves. Everybody's worried about the admin team being unbiased. Why not let's us be unbiased? Let's put aside for a second that they belong to the same in-game group. Most of the reason why these guys play together anyways, because they're friends and they like each other and they like the concept that they play. And let me tell you something else about the Rangers. In other groups like this, man, they're criminals in the game. They're thieves, bandits. Of course, people are going to have problems with them. Come on, they exist on screwing with other people. It's just the way it is. I think if anything, my point would be, guys, come on, let's simmer down a little bit and stop worrying so much about, whether or not people are trying to screw us over in a video game. I mean, it really is just a video game. They could ban me tomorrow. Yeah, I'd probably be bitter about it, but guess what? I'd also get over it, man. It's just a small segment of my life, and it's really just supposed to be something that's fun. The moment it's not fun for me anymore and I can't find a way to make it fun again, I will go do something else that's fun. I kind of feel like that's the healthy way of looking at it. So I hope that you guys understand, that my point here is just to remember that there are some processes, okay, that seem a little difficult to accept. Whether or not people are truly innocent until proven guilty is really up to the admins to adhere to, because again, they have the information that we don't. All right, there are a couple instances, I have not been in trouble myself. I know people who have. I hear their side of it, and I'm thinking, well, gee, man, this doesn't make any sense. What the hell's going on, But you got to accept that there's more information than what we have, And sometimes, I'm not saying, sometimes people aren't always forthright with all the information that they know. These things happen, And I don't know, man. I would just like to see us all remember that we're here to have fun, that we're here to get along. Things happen. Hopefully, we'll be able to work through them, in a calm and civil manner. I will tell you this. I'm very, very impressed with the way people have handled themselves in Discord in regard. There are a few people that have been facing punishments that I didn't even know about. And I find that remarkable because it's really the way the system is supposed to work. It's not supposed to be like, oh, look, this guy here is, a bad actor, man. Everybody, point him out. This guy's bad. It's great that the admins don't do that. It's great that most of us don't even want that. You know what I'm saying? And I found it interesting that there has been hardly any explosions in Discord over any of this stuff. And I'm very proud of you guys for that. For what it's worth. I mean, who cares? I'm proud of you, whatever. But I mean, seriously, because we've had situations where it's like 3 days worth of Discord fighting, man. And that's not good for anybody. It doesn't help the community. It doesn't help anybody who's arguing about it. It doesn't help the admins who have to put their foot down. And, speaking of putting your foot down, by the way, one more thing is that be careful what you wish for, man, because, I'm a fun guy. People get along with me. I'm entertaining and I'm creative. Okay. I accept that. Thank you. Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for that subscription, man. But the fact is that I'm kind of a hard ass as a manager. And it's true because to me, everything is business. I mean, I really don't like to employ my friends because if I'm actually paying somebody or if I'm in charge of overseeing somebody who's earning money because they're supposed to be doing something, I expect all of that to get done. Yes, man. Thank you so much, man. Look at all those gift subscriptions, dude. You are awesome. Salty bro. Man, thank you so much, man. It's fantastic. Now we get to hear all the notifications for a while. I don't mind. But no, seriously, I really do appreciate it. But be careful what you wish for. I mean, the admins would probably love me because I'm very strict. I would go right along with, I'd be consistent as possible. Now, I will tell you that is one suggestion I've heard recently that I find really good. It would be nice if we had a list of infractions and the kinds of punishments one could expect from those, Like if you're... And I think that it would be interesting to see that because it would also help us know or have faith that the things that the kind of punishments that people are facing kind of fit the crime, right? Because you got to figure some of the things that people do are intentionally trying to screw with other people or trying to get over on other people. And to me, that's a more serious offense than say, oh, I don't know, stacking stashes on top of each other. That doesn't seem to be a severe... Because you're not actually going out of your way to trying to screw somebody over. I guess this is just for me now. This is just me and my opinion. And I'm going to try to wind this down. I'm going to try to end this in about 6 minutes and start getting to some of you guys. But, and another thing, by the way, this is something else. There's things, I know it's shotgunning all over the place, but there are things that have just been coming up. I've been trying to think of ways to broach, I don't, I'll tell you right now, I can see both sides of the coins in a lot of circumstances. And stacking stashes on top of each other, I can understand why that doesn't seem like it should be a big deal, but I also understand why it is. Because if you think about it, okay, and I'm going to run through this real quick. This is, again, pre-Google days. This is me just assuming things, right, or deducing things. But if you've got an item, right, let's say you got something that hold like 60 items. Okay, I'm just hypothetically. You've got something that can store 60 items, and you bury it, and you've got the perfect spot, right? And so you bury it, and you're like, great. Now I've got the perfect spot. I can't, if I go to a little to the right, if I go to a little left, if I turn around, it's not the perfect spot anymore. So I'm just going to stash more stuff on top of it. What you're basically doing is you're taking this one spot where it's a really good stash spot, and instead of having that innate limit, because you can only, like, if it say like the maximum, what is it? 64, I think, like for the dry sacks might be like the biggest thing, I don't know, that you can bury. But say like that's the limit, you know, then that's a limit across the board for everybody. In that one spot, that's all you can put there. But if you keep stacking things on top of it and on top of it and top of it, then yes, okay, look, you can see the dirt pile. You can dig up the dirt pile. You can see there's another one. You can keep digging it up. But you're still getting around the fact that you found this one good spot. You can only store so many things there. It's definitely glitching. Besides, man, have you ever tried to bury anything in real life? It's not as easy as you think, digging like a 20-foot hole, okay, first of all. So it's like not even realistic that you're going to stack like 15, you know, cooking pots on top of each other and bury them and all of that in the same spot. It doesn't even make sense. So even though I don't know that it's kind of the situation that really could deserve like a 2-week ban, but then again, that's not my decision to make. But I do understand different reasons why it could be against the rules. Woo! Man, I ran through all that pretty quick. I think that was like most of my recent grievances all right there. Oh, something else I'll tell you. And this is just me to you guys. Look, man, I am not the guy that wants to spend like 3 hours running across a map in the slightest hope or chance that I might run into somebody that I'm looking for. If it's a part of the role play, it's a part of the, you know, in character, out of character thing. If like I'm looking to screw somebody up, like if I'm hunting somebody down to mess them up, yeah, I got to go around and I got to actually find them. But I'll tell you right now, man, if you just want to like role play with my character, if you just want to like continue a story, if you want to do something that's just completely in character and story related, feel free to contact me out of character. I'll tell you if I can or not. It's on me, right? I'm telling you right now, if I'm telling you something wrong, well, then they can punish me for it. I don't mind. I would rather I would rather schedule a meetup in character where we can get together and role play to where that you can have a good time and progress your story, you know, and do whatever it is that you might need to do that might involve my character. I'm perfectly cool with that. So feel free to contact me. If I can make it happen, I will. If it makes sense to happen, I will. But I'll also tell you, don't lie to me out of character. And that's another thing, is that I generally don't lie to people out of character, because that's just a jerk thing to do. I know I'm not a fan of using jerk, you know, but still, it's not cool, you know, because then you're lying to me out of character. Just don't even bother. I won't want to play with you anymore. And then that's going to disrupt everything. And I will tell you that that's part of the reason why we have these metagaming rules, is to kind of keep people from screwing each other over out of character. And so, you know, you kind of take the good with the bad. But, you know, I'll tell you, if we meet up and you screw me over, I just won't play with you anymore. And then I'll let the chips fall where they may on that one. It's not a position that we want to be in. But then again, these are why we have some of these rules that we do. I know that there's people who like, I love to stream. I like to stream DayZ. I like to stream DayZ Underground, right? But, you know, when I choose to do that, I run the risk that somebody might stream snipe me. Now, there are ways for the admin team, you know, there's ways to prove it, that somebody was at least in your stream. You can't prove when necessarily. Like if somebody was in your stream earlier in the day and then they leave your stream, and then like an hour or two later, you know, something happens that they can reference, or they run into you in game or something. And personally, I feel like that's on me, because I'm the one taking the risk by putting myself out there and allowing, you know, something to happen. And chances are, if there's like this big separation of time, then chances are they're not even metagaming at all. But I have no way of knowing that if they were in my stream and then they suddenly weren't, unless I happen to be looking at my, my member list or viewer list or whatever, which I never do when I'm streaming. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I'd kind of rather people take responsibility for themselves and their actions than to have the admin team say something like, "Oh, no more streaming, Doug," because that would suck. I mean, come on. That's exactly right. Yeah, and I'll tell you even more about it. I've even considered, because I do the boomer survival guide thing, and that's a live stream that I condense down into an hour episode and upload to YouTube. That gave me the idea of maybe I can do that and just not stream it live. Maybe go through and play, my 4-hour set or whatever, and then come back during a stream time and then play the video and then talk over and narrate it, But to me, that's a completely different thing. And I'm not even sure that it would be as good, because a lot of the reasons I know people laugh at me and stuff, because they like to see my reactions to things as they happen, and it's like, oh, he's doing this, specific story thing with this guy, how is this, thing gonna, they like to see me thinking on my feet and like to see me, either I fail miserably or I come through with something hilarious, but whatever it is, it's all that interaction. And then even then I interact with chat and I do the whole thing. And it just feels like if I was to like pre-record a lot of gameplay, which I think would be okay. If you pre-recorded it and then streamed it, it doesn't seem like people shouldn't be able to watch it and then be in game. But it seems like, it would detract from some of the fun for everybody, the viewers and myself. But also, how do you prove it? How do you go, oh, well, it's like, well, we know that he was in game. We have to, it's like, it's just an extra layer of crap that the admins would have to deal with. Because now it's like we allow people to watch a stream and be in game in this circumstance, but not that circumstance, and it's just more convoluted. So I've given it a lot of thought. I really, I don't know. I think I would rather just leave things the way they are for me personally as a streamer, and just take the hits as they come. I mean, if it gets to the point to where I can't enjoy myself anymore, or I'm not able, then I'll make adjustments then. But I would rather take responsibility for it myself in the ways that I can, instead of going to the admin team and being like, guys, you've got to help me. And because all that's going to do is end up with more rules, more litigation, and more reporting, and just more nonsense, and less playing, and less entertainment, and less enjoyment. And who wants that? Who wants that? All right, let's go up here. Salty bro, thank you so much, man. I know everybody who's receiving the gift subscription is appreciative too, man. But thank you so much. Let's go up here. I'm gonna come back and I gotta cool myself down. I could talk for another 2 hours, man. You guys know me. I role play by myself, for crying out loud. But I see that nobody is in the chat here. Let me pop this in just in case anybody does want to actually talk. But if not, that's cool. I'll go back through some of these, and then we'll see. Oh, you know what? And that's something else that I'm perfectly happy to talk about, is the things that we covered in episode 2, which was the fallacy of winning and the don't be a jerk rule. And the reason why I would rehash an episode so soon is because that happened to be the day. If y'all remember, if you were here in the beginning, I was trying to try out different different times and days to find a good sweet spot for hosting the show. And that was the only time I tried to do it in the evening, US time. And there was like 5 people there, and there was really not much interaction. Although Toronto got to be there, which was cool. He'll probably appreciate that shout out, because he never gets to be here, and he's always so sad. I never get to watch it live. Well, that was the one time he got to watch it live, and there was like nobody there. So I felt bad about that, but I really didn't get any interaction. I didn't really get much input from you guys in regards to those 2 topics, so we can always talk about that stuff too. But let's see, I'm scrolled up right now. I'm looking at some of your other comments here. Yeah, we were talking about, guilty until proven innocent. Now, again, in regards to that, man, I can kind of see, like I said, I can kind of see, it comes down again to the severity of what's going on. Is what I'm doing really disruptive to people or not, and that, for me personally, I kind of think that should weigh into whether or not somebody is immediately removed, or if that's something that, after the investigation it happens. And I don't even know if that's the case, by the way, guys. These guys could be on it so quick that, it just seems like they're pulling you out before the investigation is complete. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an admin. I don't really want to be, so I don't know. But again, it comes down to faith, man. Either you have faith in the team or you don't. And if you don't, you're really wasting your time here. Let's see. All right. Kate was saying the problem I see if the Rangers get reported, that's one admin and mods that can't do anything. Now, that is another great point, Kate. That's something else that I've thought about. And it is an unfortunate thing. This is why I don't believe for a second that they're all like, oh, let's get all the Rangers on the admin team. I mean, that's just dumb, right? It's because it does. It limits the number of people who can address issues. Because I have faith. I absolutely believe this, okay? 100%. That any admin on a group, or if they're in any way, shape, or form involved with somebody that's been reported or whatnot, I don't think for a second that, that they're overseeing those tickets. And so that's a really great point, Kate, because it really does. It limits the number of admins. And you know what that's going to do is it's going to slow things down considerably. So that's why, I mean, it's like, I'm totally okay with the people they've selected. In fact, I don't know one of them. I've interacted with Corey a lot out of character and Chip a lot out of character. And I have a lot of faith in both of those guys. That they're just cool people, I mean, they're just guys, it's not like, they're negative or anything. I mean, I really haven't seen anything negative from either one of them when it comes right down to it, so, I'm cool with all this kind of stuff, but give me just a second, Scorpion, unless you're in a hurry, dude. I'll definitely get to you in just a second.
No, you're good. Take your time.
Right on, bro. Let's see. Kind of catch up just a little bit. Hey, Lalanya, I really appreciate you, buddy. No, it's good to see you. Yeah, it does create a snowball effect. However, it indirectly creates bias throughout the community, which does damage the community. Yes, Yen. Now, this is the other side of the coin. And this is part of why I appreciate the fact that our admin team is willing to admit all this. And especially when they, or address it, I should say, there's nothing to admit to, but they addressed it when they announced the new moderators and that they were all Rangers. Okay. They specifically brought this up. Obviously, they knew it was going to be an issue. And the fact that they tried to get ahead of it, get in front of it, to me also shows that they're aware of these issues, that, they know what the perception of it is going to be. And so they're trying to get in front of it. I mean, it would really be unfortunate for them to have to be like, look, you're really the best applicant that we've got, but we'll have to turn you down because you're in this group. I mean, that would be really unfortunate. And I feel that would be detrimental to the community as well, because then it would be keeping people who could be potentially really good in these positions from being in it. And at the same time, what's the other side of the coin? Oh, well, you can do this, but you're going to have to leave your group. I mean, you can't play with your friends anymore. You're going to have, and it's this whole thing. I mean, it's all volunteer and it's all just, us trying to get along. That's why I'm willing to accept it. I'm like, look, let's see how it goes. I mean, I'm not a fool, right? I'm not like, oh, okay, well, I'm just gullible. I'm going to believe that everything's going to be hunky dory. I'm perfectly content with trusting their judgment and seeing where it goes. I'll put it that way. We'll call it cautious optimism. It's like I'm aware of these things, and we're going to let it go and see how it plays out. I mean, I have high hopes for all of this right now, Oh, excuse me a second. All right, Scorpion, what's going on, buddy? We got somebody for a live chat, so we're gonna go ahead and see what's up, man. How you doing?
Much.
I'm glad you can make it.
Chilling, waiting, watching over my friends in game because he busted his leg.
Oh no, that's no good. I'm just getting my notepad here so I can take notes on things.
So what's up with you? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking, man. Been a little tired today. A little stressed out. We got some stuff going on. It's kind of funny. I might get into it later. It's anecdotal. Kind of relatable, but How are you doing, man? What's on your mind?
I'm doing good. Nothing's really on my mind. I'm just here to talk. If you got anything you want, any topics you want to discuss with me. I've been in this server for a year and a half now, and I've seen quite a bit.
Nice. Well, what do you feel about the stuff I've talked about so far? We start with that.
Bans. Oh man. Into like one of the. My opinion on bans is it's always you don't see everything in them. You just hear usually the one side. And if it's someone you know that's been banned, you're just hearing what he's telling you. So you don't usually have all the information. So I always try to trust the admins, okay. Always try to view their viewpoint whenever there's something going on that I'm involved with.
Sorry, I'm just playing with chat. No, I agree completely. Again, it comes down to where are you going to place your faith? It's like if you don't have faith in the admin team, you're really wasting your time. But at the same time, I've had people, I'll use real life examples. I've had friends who have gotten in trouble with the law and they've been like, nah, dude, I didn't do any of that stuff. I don't know what the hell they're talking about or whatever. And then you come to find out when the evidence is revealed, which you do get in a real life court case, that's something that you don't get here. We'll get to that in a minute. But you realize, maybe this guy was kind of a scumbag, and it might affect you. And it's like, now he's lied to you on top of it. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah, I've seen all that before. And it's like, wow.
It just happens, I mean, people are people. A lot of times, it's like if you cross a line and do something wrong, man, you might be ashamed of yourself. That might be why you didn't come right out with it, but.
Exactly. And the thing about that you can always do is if you feel like you did something wrong, you can always ticket yourself about it, which is always better than have someone ticketing you. If Absolutely. I think I ever do anything wrong, I always just make a ticket on myself instantly after it.
That's a great point. That's a great point. I mean, it's something really, really small, but it would still get you in trouble. I built a gate one time. Yeah. It was like the second gate I ever built.
Exactly.
I couldn't, I couldn't get to the wire to take it off or whatever. Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you say it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, just little things, or even if it's something bigger. Because I think the admins appreciate, especially if the person makes a ticket on themselves about it versus them getting it from someone else.
Well, sure.
I have before crashed during firefights. I've had to go before, and I had to log out, and I did run away, but I might have waited maybe 10 minutes instead of the 15. I quickly put a ticket in. I haven't done anything big on Doug to get myself in trouble.
Yeah. I haven't either. But yeah, that's a great point, man. I mean, because you know what? I imagine, like, if nothing else, all right, if you come forward with a ticket about yourself, at the very least, what you're doing is saving them a bunch of time and work. And even that, I'm sure, is appreciated. Because then it's like, they get a ticket and they're like, crap, now I got to go and investigate this. They're taking more time out of their lives to investigate something where if you had just been like, oh yeah, look, man, I accidentally did this and all this, they would already have that information. They wouldn't even have to waste time on it. And, it'd probably be a little more lenient, I can't say for sure, but I would like to think they would take that into consideration,
I'm pretty sure they do. And what was I going to say? They also have to deal with quite a lot of tickets for the size of our Doug staff team.
Mm-hmm.
You also got to give them some slack, because how many staff members are there?
That's true. And there's not that many, right? There's some I don't even know who they are. There's some red names I've never even heard of, but still I don't know what
they might get doing. Like, who knows, 50 tickets in a day, 100 tickets.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that play on Doug versus the amount of staff we have, and they're doing all kinds of things, appeals.
Well, not just that. I mean, what if somebody, like in a situation where we had a while ago, where somebody went through Old Town and stole all the flags and dismantled all the shelters? That's not just one ticket from me. That's tickets from everybody who is infected. Then they got to track it down and they got to make sure, oh, well, they were actually being a jerk, and then they got to go and ban everybody. Then they got to go and reply to everybody. It's like, there's a lot in there. And that's a great point too, because one of the other issues that I know people have a problem with is the 2-week ban appeal aspect, Again, like I've said, I challenge anybody who says 2 weeks is no big deal to try it yourself. You're free to do that at any time. Just don't log in. Don't prepare first either. That's the important thing, but just don't log in. It sucks. But at the same time, you got to think about, they might be getting hundreds of tickets a day. And if they are, then guess what? They're getting ban appeal tickets on top of those tickets they've already answered and dealt with. So that's just more work that they have to do. And I kind of understand it. It sucks. And it doesn't feel good. And especially if, you end up losing things or whatever and you were innocent. But at the same time, it's like, where do we, can we balance that in a way to where fewer innocent people are caught up in it? I don't know. Personally, I mean, that's one thing I don't have an answer for, because it's a really convoluted thing, but it's necessary though. The system is a system is necessary.
Yeah. But it's very difficult to manage and get right, I'd say. And they do a good job for the amount they have.
Yeah. Amen, Salty Bro. I'll tell you right now, man. That's absolutely right. I wouldn't wish admin on my enemy. The dumb things they deal with would drive me insane. Yes, that is like the number one reason why I'm not all about it. Like that's why I didn't apply to be a mod. I mean, it's like I don't have time, but I talked about this on the admin show. I'm already pretty good at separating in character and out of character, but to separate, that kind of that level of information about players, I mean, like I said, it's like if somebody was to screw me over out of character, I would not have any interest in playing with them. How would I feel watching other people screw each other over? How would I feel about them then? And then as a player, would I want to engage with them? I wouldn't be allowed to think about that. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to whether or not I would interact with somebody in game, because that's in character. It's just an extra level of BS to deal with. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. And I feel like you can get turn some of your friends to dislike you because of it, because next thing you know, you might get a ban on them, or they're not happy with something the staff team did. Next thing you know, your friends are mad at you just because you're doing your staff work.
Nice. Ammo just threw some truth down in the chat. So the only thing I can say is report everything you think it's worth reporting, because most of the problems are caused by crap that has been simmering but not reported. It's absolutely true, because it happens all the time, even in real life relationships. Again, I love to relate gaming stuff to real life, but if you have like your significant other, just a friend, and it's like you feel like your friend slighted you, and you're like, no, I'm just gonna let it go. I don't want to have conflict. We'll just let it go. And then the next thing something else small happens, and then it's something you're like, no, it's not that important. I'm gonna let it go, And as you go, it builds up over time, and then the next thing you're really pissed, and you're like, man, this guy sucks, and it's like, why didn't I just talk this out before? Because now what are you doing? You're probably blowing up, yelling, screaming. You're handling it in a negative way, most likely, because you've let all this stuff build up. And
especially if you're a group leader and you have your members are doing bannable stuff, you should really report them, even if they are your friends and whatnot, because what they're doing is, they're breaking Doug rules.
Yeah. Now this is.
If they are your friend.
Dude, this is. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Don't let me interrupt you. I'll shut up.
But yeah, because it's going to hurt your group. If they're out there doing stuff they shouldn't be and you don't do anything, it's going to reflect your group. It's going to hurt your group later on, maybe.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And it reflects back on you. That's kind of why they want you to report people. Like, I mean, because it's not like, I mean, people, oh, it's stitching. Maybe it is, but if that's the way you're looking at it, then, maybe you're not a right fit for the community, because it's not about that individual person. And I'll tell you this too, and this is true of real life. All right. If your friends put you in a bad situation, and then they're mad at you for making the right choice, are they really good friends in the first place? I mean, really, are they really the kind of people you want to hang out? This might be like dad talking here, but it's true. And that's why I don't like to employ my friends, because it's like, if you have to come down on somebody, they're like, man, I thought we were friends. It's like, yeah, I thought we were friends too, dude. Why would you do this to me? Why would you put me in this position?
Recently, and growing up.
It is. It's yeah. I've had to learn it
If you
myself.
have friends like that, yeah, it's not worth having them as friends. That they would risk getting you in trouble. It shows you
Absolutely.
how good of a friends they are. They're willing to get you locked up or in trouble, authorities. Versus if they're a good friend, they won't do that. They won't put that on you.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many problems in my life would have been solved if I had had that knowledge when I was a teenager or a young adult. Because I've made no
Yeah,
mistake, I've had my troubles with the law, and this is another reason why I understand kind of the banning thing a little bit, because especially if you're innocent and you're already being kind of taken out of play, it feels like really bad, because here you're being accused of something that you didn't do, if it's true you didn't do it, and then you're also being punished for it. I've been there. I've been punished for things that I didn't do, but what it was the association. It's like, if I didn't know these people, and if I knew the kind of people they were but I didn't hang out with them, then I wouldn't have been in the position in the first place to be accused of anything that they might have done. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like learning how to make good decisions for yourself and who you associate with, and all these things that we really don't want to matter but do. So I don't know.
to bring up iSalty's point, iSalty bro, I've seen a lot of that in my time on this server.
What do you
People
say?
taking in-game things out of character. That happens quite a bit. Like, you get in a firefight with somebody and they instantly message you out of game, like, how dare you shot me, etc., etc. I've experienced that quite a bit. An all-time example being, I was in Dam then. I raided, who was it, Queen's Guard with Corey, and the Queen's Guard guy, their leader, was on the roof screaming at us for 30 minutes, cursing at us.
Like, out of character?
Yeah.
Dang, man. That's rough.
He was so mad.
I can see it,
Three guys raided him.
Well, you got to figure. I mean, now, a lot of people are healthy about their hobbies, and a lot of people are not. And I'm sorry, now look, man, if you've got all the time in the world, all right, and you've got, limited responsibility, whatever it is, whatever life situation you have that allows you to sit in a game for 8 hours a day, more power to you. But you got to remember that just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should do something. And spending that much time in a game consistently, really, I mean, I found with some people can handle it as no problem. Other people, it's difficult, because it becomes such a part of your life that when bad things happen, it becomes harder to separate it. It's like, dude, I thought we were friends. Why would you do this to me? That attitude, it does. And when you lose something in game, like somebody raids your base or whatever, and it feels like a personal attack on you out of character. I mean, if you feel that way,
Some people take it that way, yeah.
I highly advise you to take a step back, dude, because that's getting to where you're a little, I don't call anybody crazy, but let's say that's not exactly sane. Okay. And it's not.
I've even had, like, when I was in Dam, we've, go ahead, be bandits, hold someone up, rob them. And next thing I know, they'd be DMing me about it. Like, God, I can't believe you did this to me, etc., etc. I'm salty that you robbed me. And I tell Iris and she would take care of it. But then I've also seen the exact opposite happen. In situations where, let's say, someone's being raided and they need a break from it, I've seen groups reach out to OC, be like, "Hey, can you give us a break from this? We need some time. Our players aren't doing so hot right now." And the other side's like, "Yeah, we can do that for you."
Yeah.
Which is really nice to see.
That's fantastic. That's a part of us recognizing that we're just players, and it's also a part of reaching out of character in a way that I find definitely beneficial. Because I mean, there's so many aspects to, like, say, metagaming, and there absolutely are. For me, it's very cut and dry. However, in Doug, we have certain rules. There are certain things that are kind of metagaming, that are allowed, and some things that are not. And, coordinating a little bit of, out of character for in-game things, I think, is generally okay. It's not, You're not trying to get over on anybody. You're not trying to curry special favor or anything. I mean, in this case, I've seen, not with me personally, but with people I played with, I've seen the negative impacts of consistently being raided. And like, say, for instance, there are 3 or 4 different groups who all tend to target you at the same time. They may not even know, that you've been raided 3 times in the last week. None of them may have known that the others have raided you, So,
Yep.
It's like, it just makes sense. And I've seen it in the group chat. I can't remember who it was, the group leader chat or whatever, where somebody's been like, hey guys, can we just take a little break? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, everybody was very cool about it, and I think that makes sense.
The rule of where you cannot attack the same group twice in a week. Once again, in Damn, we had a point where we were getting raided every single day and shot at every single day. It was bad. It's been the worst I've seen with a group getting raided.
Mm.
It completely killed our activity, because nobody wanted to play. It was only a couple of us ended up being, until it eventually died down. But it was bad. I am happy they incorporated that rule, because getting attacked like that just kills your motivation to play.
It really does. It takes the wind right out of your sails.
Yeah.
It's like,
just imagine you wake up every day and you're immediately either getting raided or shot at.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no fun. Even if you're playing a bad guy group, or even if it's bad guys attacking a good guy group, or just being bad guys like they do, moderation is the key to everything. I mean, because anything can be overdone. It's why I wouldn't want to live completely in character. Although I do like that idea of not having out of character contact, but you still lose some of the community aspect and spirit that way. And so I wouldn't want to be 100% one way or the other, because there's benefits to having both, but it's moderation, was my point there, I guess. I like this comment by Yen, man. She says the OOC will always cause issues because it goes back to the win mentality. When you don't win, it's human nature to feel slighted. This is true. And this is actually kind of why I wanted to revisit episode 2 a little bit, because I did talk about the fallacy of winning. And sadly, it was just me talking about it because, again, I didn't have hardly anybody around. But yeah, man, since there's nobody else waiting, Scorpion, why don't we chat about that for a minute? Because
I didn't hear post that because my internet just went weird.
That's fine.
And I couldn't hear anything.
Well, the full
OOC in character.
Yeah. Well, what Yen said was the OOC will always cause issues because it goes back to the win mentality, and if you don't win, it's human nature to feel slighted. Now, like I said, back to the second episode, I talked about the fallacy of winning, which is that, in a role-playing game, especially one where people are kind of, their own antagonists to each other, there's really not a winner in the traditional sense. There's just not.
Winning used to be on Doug is just destroying the other group, making them go bye-bye. Right? And that's not a good mentality to have. That's not healthy for the community. And with the you can't attack the same group 2 days in a row now, that really helps. But I think that was just toxic, I'd say. It's not healthy.
No, it's really not. Just the idea, because look, man, you could say, oh, well, I won that encounter. Okay, that's fair and reasonable if you survived and they didn't. If it was a combat encounter, that makes sense. But remember that we're a community of, what's up, Sammy? Thank you for bringing your friends with you. We're a community of different players who have different play styles. Like I'm more role play centered and story oriented. Okay, that doesn't mean I can't PvP, and in other games I love to PvP. There are other people who come here who are primarily PvPers, or people who, and a lot of people in between. There's some people that just want to come and farm and fish and hunt animals, they're PvE people, and Doug is a unique place, DayZ Underground, to where we really accept people who play all these different ways. But now each different play style comes typically with its own, end game or its own, win conditions. So it's a challenge for us, to come together with all these different play styles and our own idea of what our end game is. And then to see it come together, in a peaceful way, as opposed to a conflicting way, is a challenge. That's one of the greatest challenges I feel that we face as players on Doug. And I kind of feel like part of that, I think part of the way that we get along in that regard is to just be aware of these different things and not to try to push your win condition on other people so much. Whereas like, you enter an encounter with somebody, for like me, if I was robbing somebody, I'd like to think that my win condition would be to rob these people and hopefully get away without having to kill anybody or getting killed myself and to get a few goodies. That to me would be a win. But if I was a militaristic guild and, or a group and somebody came along, and caused problems with me, then my win condition might be, to end them, I've kind of thought about this. I don't know what the Reverend Alessandro's win condition actually is, but if, as a role player, I feel like every encounter that I have that's deep and meaningful and has some sort of long reaching impact, for somebody, to me is a win. So it's like we've got all these different conditions, man, that come together. And I guess if we could all just kind of get what we get out of it without having to really just shove it down somebody's throat. Like if you're a raider or you enjoy the PvP, take your little win, I killed your group and that's fun, and then you go on about your day. But if you're like, no, man, I don't win until you're dead, everybody, your mom's dead, your dad's dead, your friends are dead, your pets are dead, then that's not healthy for anybody, man. Yeah, I'm gonna burn you to the ground. I'm gonna rebuild on your corpse. It's just not gonna be helpful. But at the same time, I can't be like, oh, you know what? My win condition's gonna be if I can like have everybody hate this character. I'm gonna go around and role play, and I'm just gonna make everybody hate this guy, so that anytime they see him, they're gonna want to kill him. That's not exactly fair or fun for them either, Because then it's kind of like you're just getting other people to do your dirty work for you anyway. But I mean, it's just, I feel like most of the time, even for me, most of the time, I'm usually in that sweet spot, whether people will give me a hard time or not. It's just like, I really haven't had a lot of complaints personally. But that might come along with my play style and the way, like my main character, Alessandro, the way I present him, it might just be part and partial to that. But if like, I was to play, somebody who's more of an antagonist for the people he meets, maybe I would experience more negative blowback. I don't know. Unless I try that kind of thing,
If you were a bandit, you definitely would.
Yeah, sure.
I've done it all in my time here. I've been a farmer. I've been a bandit. I've been military.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, you gotta give it to the farmers. I don't understand how they enjoy that sometimes. Just farming, feeding people, like being nice, and then you just have people come by and just murder you. I didn't enjoy that.
All right, I could tell you, I do a lot of that. Okay, for me personally, the payoff is when somebody comes along and you've made their day a little better. Because there's food there. Because, it sucks to survive on a hardcore server and not be able to find things to survive and starve to death over and over again. But for me, it's like every once in a while, I'll actually be there when somebody comes by and they are just so genuinely grateful. That's a big payoff for me. But it also gives me an opportunity to be like, I'm a role player and this is where my character is a lot of the time. So if people want to come and find me, that's a good place to start looking, so they kind of have an idea of how to find me so that we can do other things too. But no, man, farming it gets tedious and tiresome. I've considered filming it, just going from the beginning and filling up all my tents. And I did it the other day. I actually almost filled up all 4 tents the other day, and it was just fun. I had people coming and interacting with me, and it was just a good time. But I was thinking about doing that and then publishing it as a video, but I don't know who would watch a 3-hour video of me just farming, because it would watch
watch that? No.
I just want to
you're, like,
prove to
there
you how
immediately.
much work it is. You know, people would just be like, this is boring as hell. Let's skip to the
Oh,
end.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sitting there waiting those vegetables to grow for 30 minutes. Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah. And then the best part is that you're like, oh, well, I don't want to sit here. I'm going to go loot around a little bit. And the next thing you know, if you lose track of time in the slightest, you come back and like half your crap is ruined because it waited too long. And so then you're like, oh, so then it's like you're not even being efficient about it. So the next thing you know, you turn like a 2-hour thing into like a 4-hour thing. And then it's like, oh, I'm done playing for the day. And this is all I've done. Yay. You know, but it's still kind of funny too, because I feel responsible. I was running around yesterday and I saw this dead guy right next to my sign at the church, and I was like, he starved to death. Like, this sucks. You know, like if only I had been able to get in for like an hour earlier, you know, there might have been some food. It makes me feel bad a little bit, man. It really does, because I'm like, gosh, you know,
Good,
it's too bad, you know.
I've been in those spots when I'm on the coast. I'm like, man, I hope they're home. They got some food for me to get there. There's no one there.
You're like,
You
no.
cry
That's hilarious.
why I said you gotta give props to those farmers. They do good work, but God, is it boring?
It really is. It really does get to be that way. I mean, like I said, there's some payoffs to it, and it's fun, man. I actually filled up. I filled up 2 different tents. I had one tent completely full of tomatoes, and I had another tent completely full of green peppers. And I was like, dude, I just won this game today. Like, that's my end game today. Is I completely filled up these tents, man. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Versus my goal, my end game. Oh yeah, let's run over here, talk to this person. Let's loot this.
Yeah.
We need to hold up so and so today.
Oh my goodness. Hey, let me throw in this comment from, I'm just kind of scrolling up still, from Interruption, man. He says, as far as I've heard, in-character wars sadly only end when one group leaves the server. And the same with the newest war, for example. Okay. I've heard people talk. I have not participated in an in-game war, right?
Really?
In DayZ or Doug. No, I've tried to get in the middle of it, you know, because my character would want to bring peace to everybody, you know.
That's good.
But that's what I was pre-wipe. That's what I was trying to do. Now I'm still, you know, I'm just hanging out in town. But the thing of it is like, this is where I'd have a problem with having wars with other people, because for me, in order for this to be really successful, all right, without it having to be a kind of thing where you've completely run somebody off the server, okay, is that somebody has to be willing to lose. I mean, that's just it. Somebody's got to be willing to say, okay,
exactly, and nobody wants to lose.
You win. Yeah, that's it. I mean, honestly, I don't want to see now at this point, I don't want to see Dam run out of Gorka, but I'll tell you right now, it would be a killer story to see it happen. But Dam would have to be willing to relinquish that territory. You know, it would have to be an out of character decision to go, you know what? Yeah, let's shake things up, man. Let's put Dam on the defensive and then have them maybe have to get a little more hardcore to come back to where they were. You know, like that would be a fun character development thing. Now, I'm not trying to put Dam on the spot or anything like that. I mean, this could be anybody. It's just, you know, stay the hell out of Gorka. Okay, so we'll just go with that. But I think something like that would be really interesting to see. But at the time, you know, at the same time, all right, because again, like Yen says, it's like nobody really wants to lose, you know, but you'd have to be willing to do that, you know, and you have to know that the people that you're playing with would be willing to, you know, there would be give and take there, that it's not just you that's gonna take a hit, that they're gonna allow, you know, things to volley back and forth. The next thing you know, you've got this great story going with all this interaction from all these other people that are going to be involved on one side or the other, and then have like some kind of an idea of where you want this thing to go. Maybe it ends right back where it started, you know? And so like maybe you trade territories a little bit, and at the end of the day, nothing's really changed. But at the same time, it looks like it did. It looks like there was an actual war that progressed, and there were wins and losses. And, you know, then at the end of it all, you know, we could all still be friends, and nobody feels like they were taken advantage of.
The best wars I've ever been in are ones where we're friends OC, or we get some kind of cool story about it, and it's not like a war where, hey, we wanted to destroy these people as much as possible. It's, you know, we have a reason in game, we have some RP reason, we do it, and a cool story comes out of it. And I've also, very rarely this happens, but I have seen groups surrender in war. It's very rare, but I have to give props to those people because it doesn't happen, and it's that whole mentality of getting rid of your enemy. Because
Yeah.
surrendering has to be difficult because that means you're following someone's demands, maybe you're giving them stuff, and nobody wants to do that, and no one wants to say they surrendered.
See, I'll tell you right now, Ammo brought it up. I was thinking it. Ammo brought it up. Torchwood, a perfect example of a group that seems to have handled a war right. I was not here for at the time, right? I don't really know a lot about it, but I know that Torchwood had territory. They had a church, I believe. They had all this going on. They were in a war with somebody, and eventually they lost the war. And then when I met Torchwood, or when I came into the server, Torchwood was a nomadic group. They didn't have a set territory. They just wandered around. So I didn't know about any of that. I got to learn about all of that in character, by the way, which was just fascinating story to hear. And then then meeting them in character, it was like, wow, I really got a really good. We've had a lot of really good interactions, but I kind of feel like that's an excellent example of a group that that knows how to handle a war, or at least take a loss. And now look at them.
Definitely took a loss. Yeah.
Look at them now. Now they've got territory again, and they've got they're building back up. I mean, it's a good example, and I kind of like to see. Right. Here, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to step away for just a second. I'm going to let you talk about this for a minute, if you don't mind, because you were here then. Yeah. Or whatever, how it might have worked out, to be a good role play thing. I'll be listening though.
I'm not part of either of those groups at the time, but from what I understanding is, Dam and Torchwood are fighting. Dam ended up going to Torchwood's place, raiding it. I don't know how much they took, but then they RP'd. They set the place on fire, burned down Torchwood's church, and Torchwood's like had a story came out of it. They're like, well, we're nomadic now. We lost our home. We will. I don't want to say disband, but split up, try to hide, roam, and one day we'll come back, form another home again, become strong. And it was a really cool story with them. That this is a moment where they took the loss. They didn't go hard for vengeance. They didn't decide, hey, every day we're gonna go try and mess up Dam as much as possible for vengeance. They're like, no, we lost this war. We're just gonna lose our home. We're just gonna roam for a bit, and then we'll come back later.
And to me, that is really the perfect way to handle it, because they could have entrenched and been like, you know what, to screw with this. Like, fine, you came and you did all this, fine. Well, we just rebuilt. You know what I mean? They're like, yeah, we just rebuilt. They could have left everything the exact same, but they didn't. They rolled with the punches, which was, I mean, is remarkable. It's hard to do.
Rebuild. They could have went after Dam again, but no, they took the L.
Yeah.
And that's something.
It would be nice if everybody, could do that sort of thing. But again, I stress that that's part of the reason why it's important to have the out of character communication, as well. Because if it's all just in character, then you lose the separation of players, and it's all just characters, and it's easier to maybe take things salty and and all that. I don't know if there was any out of character discussion about any of this as it was happening or any of that. I know that with another situation with Torchwood, when they killed Kurt, right? Isn't that his name? Kurt? I don't know everybody, but there was some potential bad feelings involved with that, and people talk, and they work things out. And next thing you know, like, there's this whole other aspect of a story that was told, which I found, like, as a viewer, to be fascinating. I loved watching it. It was really great role play involved with the whole thing. And I mean, I just, it just is what it is. I mean, I'm a sucker for story, man. And when people stick to it and they come through and, you end up getting this beautiful thing going on, it's just like, wow, man.
There's always a lot going on that you don't know about. There's always maybe meetings between groups. There's always something going on. And it's really interesting just to hear the people's stories and what has happened.
Yeah.
That you don't know about because you weren't involved, or you were a different side, or just a bystander.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Those are some of my favorite play sessions. By the way, I've been running around with characters who have been around for a long time, who know like different lore and stories, and will talk to you in character about them. Because then I get to, because like as a player, I'll read things or I'll watch things and I'll have my own opinion about it, and I think that's cool. But my character might feel completely different about it when presented with the information. And then depending on how that information is presented to the character determines how my character receives it and digests it and what they think of it. It just adds a whole new element to these stories that you hear. There's like a way to enjoy it, but then there's a way to actually experience it. And those two are often different things.
They're very, actually hearing about an experience and are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've been in so many things now. So many wars. It's always interesting to hear the enemy side too. Their opinions on things and hearing their side of the battle. Or just hearing someone else's version of the story. Of the same story.
Oh man.
It might be different.
Let me tell you something, man, if you don't mind. My goodness. So some of you guys are aware of this story that I've been writing and posting here lately, Under a Blood Red Sky. And if you've been reading it, you kind of, I don't want to give too many spoilers away if you haven't been reading it, but if you've been reading it, you know, all right, now, first of all, people are complimenting me. Okay. Let me emphasize that. First of all, it involves the Cult of Papa. Okay. Now let me tell you, out of character, I have no idea who plays the Cult of Papa. I don't want to know. All right. This has been so fascinating role play for me. Like, I am just so excited about all of this. These people showed up and started screwing with me, and then it's like, oh my god, because what it did was it's allowed me to reveal things about my character and to get in depth, really think about things, layers of my character that I've put there, but I haven't really nurtured much or really put much thought into. It's really allowed me to do that and to really dig deep and pull out just more of my character than I thought was there in the first place. And I bet I would be surprised if any of these people had any clue that, there was going to be any kind of, reaction this way. And just for the record, I did, when I logged in that day, it was just organic and beautiful, and it was random that they were there at the time that I just happened to log in to do this out of character stuff. And I was like, holy crap. I was like, all right, fine. Let's engage. And so that's what we did. And it turned out to be this really awesome 20-minute, role play thing that I did. And what's funny about it, though, is not only was it just random and just amazing timing, like it just worked out, but when I hit record, I had forgotten that that my microphone in OBS was muted. So, or actually what it was I, on my Stream Deck, I actually hit the mute button by accident when I was trying to do something else. And so halfway through, all I get is their ends of the conversation and completely lost everything that I had said. So let me assure everybody that, first of all, I was not nearly as slick in the role playing as it reads in the story. Okay. But I mean, I remembered kind of the gist of what most of it was. And so that's kind of what I played off of, but I wasn't quite as slick as I am in the story. But I do really appreciate these guys, coming and inviting me into their role play. The Cult of Papa is a great story anyway. I mean,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's your opinion as being a newer player on the Cult? Because a lot of older players, we're used to them, right? So we're kind of, used to them, done with them, etc. But as a new player, how do you feel about them?
They're super creepy. Like, because the only thing that I knew about the Cult of Papa, okay, was I had seen a couple of videos. They're fantastic
Really
videos.
I think someone mentioned one of them in chat, like the 3-hour one of the. Yeah, you gotta give them props too. One of them crawled for 3 hours.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
They're just I can tell. Well, I think there's a video of it. There's this guy. The Cult was there. They're filming this guy. They were torturing. He was crawling on the ground for 3 hours, and that's all the stream was.
That is crazy, man. That's good. I mean, that's good. That's good role play, dude. There's just no way around that.
It was creepy.
But yeah, it's really how I felt about it. Cause I've, what I understand, and this is just what I understand about the Cult of Papa, is just that it's some, really experienced veterans who just like to keep it all in C and really just, you know, come around and whatever, mess with people or what have you, try to fulfill Papa, whatever he wants. The thing of it is like, from when I know that now, you know, so it's like, or at least that's the impression that I have. So, you know, when they show up, there's a lot of pressure. You know, I mean, I know people regard me as pretty good role player and, you know, a decent writer, what have you. I'm a little modest about it. I don't have a lot of confidence. So I really appreciate all the great, you know, support and everything from everybody. But
it's all right. You just do your best.
It means a lot, you know, that they would take the time out to come and involve me in all of this. Now, as a new player, like I said, I think the cult is really creepy and kind of scary, almost like in the way the Bagheads were when I first heard of them. The Bagheads were pretty scary too. They put out some really good videos as well. But you know, I mean, they're just players playing. What I like about it, and I don't know if anybody ever considered, if you've read the second part of the story, I like to think that I captured the spirit of what Papa is about. I've had the privilege of watching Toronto and other characters deal with it and role play, you know, their perception of how the cult of Papa is in character. So it's not like, you know, it's not like I didn't have a running start or anything. I already kind of had a feel. It's horror role play, and I'm down with horror. I love horror. Horror is my favorite genre. Okay, so I mean, I'm playing DayZ for crying out loud. So so it fit like a glove for me. And like as I'm sitting there writing this stuff out, I was like, you know, it's weird because I'm watching the video and I'm hearing, you know, they're each saying different things, and I was like, you know, it's weird because they're almost saying the same thing, and it's all like one right after another, and it's like, man, you know, what if it was like all their to the Reverend, all their voices were kind of congealing into one new unified voice that is Papa. Oh man, it's cool. Yeah, I really got into it. I spent
I'll have to check it out.
I spent like 2 full days working on this one chapter.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was just like, I loved it. Yeah.
Really
Check it out. There's one more to come. There's one more to come. You know, so I'm already working on it. We'll see. It's just character development, but I loved it, man. I loved it. Great. And I hope other people, when they if they are chosen by Papa, you know, are up to the challenge, because it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
They're
Oh
an
my.
interesting bunch. Good RPers, definitely.
Yeah. I love that I have no idea who they are. That's like the best thing in the world. So even if I find out who they are out of character, I mean, I'm still gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna ignore it. I just love it. I don't even want to know. I don't want to know. I won't.
Ask people and you won't find.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it. So
and it does kind of, it ruins them a bit when you do find out.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, I mean, honestly, I don't want to get into the Baghead thing because there are people who may not know who they are, might have seen the videos and might be a little freaked out about it. It does. It you know, there's a mystique involved when people are doing something like this, and it's when you're experiencing it, it's a whole different thing than when you see it out of character and you know, recognize
really
it.
Oh man, you don't have your heart pumping. You don't have all the other things going on.
Exactly.
You're not fearing for your life. You're just watching it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I was really happy with myself being the kind of player that I am, and then I was really glad that I had time more than anything, because again, I wasn't planning on playing, you know, at the moment. But fortunately, I had time in real life, and I came in, you know, and it was just like, you know, gosh, man, I was like, this is going to be really interesting. Like that's really what I thought. I was like, man, this is going to be cool. No matter what happens, this is going to be neat. I'm going to go figure it out. Because I could have hopped on Discord. I could have been like, hey, people are over here screwing with me, you know, and other people would have come in, and it would have been a whole different situation. And I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm not that kind of, you know, I'm not the person to do that, you know.
If you really are a good RPer, I want to say you shouldn't do that because it ruins it a bit.
Mm-hmm. It does. I mean, even, you know, I've pointed out times where I've walked my character into certain death knowing that it was going to end badly, but you know, it's all in the sake of the story, man. Even if it was something where it's like, damn, now I got a 3-hour run back and all this, you know, it's all these problems or whatever out of character for me. I'd still like to integrate all of that into my character story one way or another, you know, so it just all comes together. It's not easy to do. It's not easy to do, and that's why I'm always willing to help people with their stories. If anybody, needs help getting a story started, trying to figure out what kind of story they want to tell, any of that stuff, man. There's a lot of people in this community that will help. I'm one of them, so
there is.
We can talk sometime.
Talk to some of the old time RPers, or the dedicated ones that really do a good job. They'll help you get situated, give you advice.
Yeah, I would think if there was anything about the Cult of Papa, I would have wanted to know is just that if they thought I did a fair job in depicting the whole thing, but I don't want to know bad enough to where I'm gonna ask. I don't want to know that bad. I'm just saying it would just be nice. It would be nice. And I assume that if I see them again, then I'll probably know. That'll probably be my answer. Because I'm kind of sure they wouldn't waste time on people if they weren't enjoying what was going on. Because like again, it's time. Anything that we do for each other in role playing and in character, out of character is just time. And I don't like to waste my time. I'll tell you that. And I think we talked about it a little bit with Harvey was on. We were talking about, playing the villain. And he's like, if somebody's not feeling it, they're just like, go ahead and kill me. He's like, that's not good for anybody.
Yeah, I've experienced that as a villain.
It's a shame, but
it's a really, it kind of like, oh man, this is kind of, it's one of these people. Like, all right, I won't, RP with it. I'll just do it. But it's kind of a bummer for the ones holding you up, because it can take a while to hold people up sometimes. Finding them, finding someone that you can actually get to that point where you hold them up, and you get there and it's just like, just shoot me. I don't want to deal with RPing with you. Yeah, I don't want to RP this holdout out.
Yeah, I think you used to lead for the comment about the story. I appreciate it. And let's see. Also, we had everybody's loving the bagheads right now. They really are, man. If you guys haven't seen any of their, look it up. They're on YouTube, man. It's like I can't remember what they're called. Somebody linked them to me a long time ago. But I mean, it's brutal, dude. I mean, whoever puts some of you guys really. I mean, I would love to have you guys coach me on some of these video creation things you guys do, because you guys blow me away. Look, man. Again, I'm modest. Okay. It's undeniable. All right, I've got some talent in writing. Okay, that's enough. People have told me that through the years. I'm an idiot for not pursuing that. Okay, is how I feel about it at this point. I'm okay with audio. I can do voices. I can do voices pretty well. Whatever. But video, man, is just like a whole new thing to me, and it's like I'm trying to figure it out, but it's also so time consuming. Even editing. Fortunately, the gaming workshop goes really smooth, so all I got to really do is cut out the pre-show and put an ending on it, and we're good. But the boomer stuff has been a real fun experience for me. But again, it's just streaming that I cut down. It's practically a highlight stream. And now I know that highlight videos don't necessarily do very well, but that's why I try to make it a story. So like the highlights are telling a cohesive story all the way through, so that it's actually an hour long. Like it's almost like a TV episode, just with clips and all. I don't know if you've seen it or not either, but again, I don't want to spoil anything just in case people want to check this stuff out and get into it and all that.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of this. I'm gonna go check it out then.
Let me see if I can figure this out. I created yes, oh my gosh, it worked. I remembered today. I had a Nightbot thing. That's my YouTube channel with I think all my all the stuff that the videos and stuff that I've done, and the gaming workshops and all of that stuff. It's all the DayZ stuff. Anyway, I might as well. It is, bada boomer. Also, it's right there. See,
I'll let the bagheads know that you said those things.
I'll let them know I said all these wonderful things about them. Yes. I don't want to have to crawl around for an hour because they broke my knees. Broke my legs.
You don't want to crawl around for an hour? Have them beat you up?
Oh my gosh, man! No, I'm just telling you, man. I'm having flashbacks of some of the stuff in the videos that I was just like, dude, this is terrifying.
Were you talking about the old? You talking about the old ones, right? The old bagheads.
It was the one that the video I'm specifically talking about was them walking around Cherno. It's like I call it the rumors that Alessandro has heard about the bagheads and the way they're treated. It was not last wipe, but the end of the wipe before last that I'm pretty sure is when those videos were made.
All right.
And they were walking around, and they would like get somebody and convince them to go in, into a room or whatever, and then they would like tie them up and torture them, and it was just scary as hell. Things like that, or they just walk around. I mean, Alessandro kind of sees the backheads. If he hears that term, he assumes that it's the people that walk around and terrorizing the streets of Cherno and the citizens, and he's not very cool with that. But that's the reputation they have with him. So, So. There you go. Alex knows what I'm talking about. He said, "Yeah, it's the old ones." So the guys now, it's funny because they've got a reputation to go on. I don't know. I really like that aspect too, by the way. I've because I know who they are out of character. I actually like I almost wish I didn't, because there's still that mystique about it, that is not there now, so they're not quite as scary to me now, but it's still a really cool concept, the way their group runs and what their purpose is. I dig it. So, I don't think there aren't really that many groups. Yeah, actually, Alex, you can. I'm pretty sure it's allowed. I don't have the. If not, then I guess not. But you can try. It might let me approve it or something. But if not, maybe you'll just get banned. Sorry, buddy. I'm gonna ban you from my chat.
Rest in peace, Alex.
Yeah, rest in peace, Alex. Oof. Yeah, it didn't show it. Sorry, dude. If you send it to me in Discord, I'll pop it in there. Yeah. That's hilarious. It might be a sore spot. Man, Alex is a great sport, by the way. Let's go with that.
I've never met him.
No, he's a great guy.
I've met a lot of these people that live in the coast. I don't ever go there.
Yeah. Well, that's why I haven't met a lot of people in the rest of the country either. A lot of people are like, "Gosh, we haven't met Alessandro," and I'm like, "Wow, you're lost, bro." No, I'm like, well, that's too bad, because it's like he's always down here. But yeah. But some of that's changing actually in regards to the what he's going to be up to. So I don't want to give too much away. Oh yes.
How people don't meet each other because people don't go around the map like we do. You have your people that live up just east and west. They never really go and visit, and they're kind of separated.
Mm-hmm.
And they have their own stories and whatnot.
There we go.
Like even being a wanderer, I don't go to the coast just because I really don't like the coast. And so I miss out on everything that happens there.
See, we're trying to bring the coast back, man. That's all it is. So I cringe when I see people are like, "Oh, everybody's trying to get off the coast. The coast sucks, man." I'm like, dude, we get the gnarliest waves on the coast. I don't know what you're talking about. Just come hang out on the coast, man. I love my beachfront property. I like to be able to.
Fish, right?
Yeah, I walk like 1 block south, man, and it's like all ocean, man. I get to chill on the docks, man. We got a nice little Ferris wheel down there, we like to climb on it, fall and break our legs, and it's all kinds of fun, man, on the coast, man. You should come.
I just have.
Come down to the coast, have a few laughs.
Down there. I don't want to go down there in character.
No, what's funny, I made a Die Hard reference that was kind of funny, because if you think about it, yeah, come to the coast, have a few laughs, yeah, and chances are you might actually be taken hostage or shot or killed, or who knows what's going to happen to you down there, but hey. Come on down, man. We got the weather. It's great.
We got them beaches, and the parties, we got the bar out, right?
I'm serious. It's a lot of fun. And that's part of it too, is because, I've actually gotten to where the crackhead mentality, and for those who don't know, the crackheads is people that just randomly attack you on the coast, freshies usually. It's kind of fun. I mean, it's gotten to where it's like, that's where most of my anxiety comes from playing a game, which is really weird that I play a game to relax. That brings me all kinds of anxiety, but
you play DayZ to relax?
I know, what's wrong with me?
What?
How bad must my real life be that DayZ is relaxing? I'm just kidding. My life is pretty good. But wow. Very profound.
New to the server because you just get, I don't want to say used to DayZ. I miss that feeling.
Excuse me, my goodness. But yeah, man. No, I do. I like being on the coast. I like it. I mean, I've tried to describe it before where it's like, You know, there was one day I noticed it. It was subconscious now. It's like muscle memory now. But I'm like walking around. All I'm doing is farming, right? But I'm constantly looking around, constantly looking over my shoulder. Every single creak of a tree, I expect to be some other crackhead about to come at me. And now I've gotten to where it's like my fingers are constantly hovering over like my weapon keys. I'm like, I'm ready, you know. Now that doesn't mean that I'm gonna actually, you know, survive or hit anybody or what have you, but it's just like this tension is like constantly there. And for some reason, man, I just love it, man. It's just like, it probably goes back to my love of horror. You know, I mean, I remember when I was like 10 or 11, my parents took me to a haunted house and scared the crap out of me. And it was so exhilarating and exciting. And, you know, I love that stuff, man. They don't just.
You're a DayZ player.
For real, man. And you know what's funny is that I'm not the kind of guy to like go skydiving or bungee jumping or any of that kind of stuff, but you know, I get my thrills. I'll get my kicks elsewhere, you know.
Yeah, those thrills you only find in DayZ.
Yeah, for real. Man, it's nice. It's nice to be able to do that. Man, I love this. I love this community. I love this game, and I love being able to do this.
I miss those throws, man. Like I said, over time you just become nerfed to it. Like you get used to it. Like I am now. It's just I don't have that anymore.
Yeah, I probably should just really relish in it still. I mean, I've been here 6 months now, you know, it's been almost 7 months now. But there are still things, you know, and it's fun because I have been consolidated mostly to the coast, whether it's the Northeast or in the South. I've gone out and been to play. I've been to Zelenogorsk. I've been, you know, a little bit north. I've not been to Northwest Airfield yet or Tussie or any of that. So I've still got that to look forward to. I've really been taking it slow. I've been digesting it all very slowly, and I mean it's been pretty cool. I mean, you know, now I mean everybody's trying to get me to go up north now because everybody, you know, wants to meet the Reverend, but I'm like, well, you know, maybe he'll journey around a little bit, but you know, it's fine. I'll get there in my own way. And I've also got Boomer now, who I can play pretty much anytime I want. So you know, and he's a completely different character, so you know, he's fun. He's just fun to do. But I've got that also, and you know, I want to experience other things in the game. I really do. I want to hold people up, and I want to, you know, be held up and not feel like, oh, it's like, oh, I'm the Reverend. Everybody's like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I've actually had that happen to me before. I still don't know who it is or who it was, but it was a while ago. This is no lie, dude. No lie. I'm running around Cherno, you know, and funny, I'll just go ahead and tell you, I did have a box of nails this day. But anyway, so I'm running around, and all of a sudden this guy comes around the corner. Oh, hey, hold up, man. And I'm like, what? And I turn around, and he's like, hey, put your hands up. And I'm like, ah, crap. And I do it in my voice, you know, oh, dang, you know. And he's like, wait, who are you? And I said, I'm the Reverend Alessandro. Oh, my bad. And he runs off. And I was like, that's power, buddy.
That's you getting famous.
That's the power. That's the power of role play right there. I loved it. So whoever that was, man, it totally made my night. Not because I got away with a box of nails, but just because I've now got this fantastic story to tell. That was fantastic. Oh, my bad. No clue who it was. So it's all fun.
Man, I got some crazy stories. You want to hear the craziest? Yeah. All right, so
bring it.
This is when I was in 506. We had a group of friendly traders that lived in, what was it? Give me a second. It was, I think it was Josino. And we're kind of friends with them and whatnot, so I went to visit them one day. It was nighttime. I go up to the front door and say, hello, hey, I'm Scorpion. I'm just visiting you guys. Here you are. Guy comes out of the house, doesn't speak, walks up to me. And a guy comes behind me. And I'm like, all right, they're not speaking. I turn over my shoulder, and this guy comes right up behind me, gets out a Glock, and unloads it into my ass. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I run away. I inject an FB. I'm running. I'm pretty fucked up. I'm blinking health. I get on the ground. I start crawling away. I'm bleeding 8 times.
Oh, my goodness.
I bandage. So I'm bandaging, and then I inject the blood bag while I'm bleeding, and I start bandaging. I just crawl away.
Yeah.
I'm just crawling on the ground. I'm like, guys, our friends just shot at me. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And then they're like, all right. And then they come over, and it's getting daytime at this point. And they're like, they spread out. They get Overwatch on the town. There's a couple of them. And we're waiting, and we see 4 guys in a car drive by near us. We're like, what is that? Is that the guys that shot you? And I'm like, oh, I have no idea. And then we're waiting, and then our friends show up. They're home. They're in their house. They're like, wait, we don't have the codes to the store. They're trying to get out. We're like, did you guys just shoot Scorpion in the ass? They're like, no, what are you talking about? And I run up there and I'm mad. I'm like, I can't believe you guys just loaded in my ass. Let's come to visit you. They're like, that wasn't us. What's happening? I'm like, there's a guy that walked out of your home and another one that shot me in the ass. They're like, no, that's not us. That's not us.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what do you mean that's not you? They came out of your house. They're like, we lost the code. We think there's someone else living in our house.
Oh my God.
I'm like, what is going on? And then four guys in a car show up.
Wow.
They're like, what are you doing? We live here.
Oh my
like,
God.
No, they live here. They're like, no, what are you talking about? This is our place. And 506 is just there like, what is going on? What is happening here?
Wow. That is fantastic.
No, it's not over yet. It's
oh,
not
no.
over. So it turns out they're both living in this house. And I'm like, wait, so who shot me here? And they're like, we didn't shoot you. And they're like, we didn't do it either. I'm like, wait. So what you're telling me here is 3 different groups are living in the same house. And I'm like, how does this happen?
How do
they're
you
like, well,
not
we only
know?
have the 1-4 dial on the front. And I'm like, what? What is So we came to the conclusion that there was 3 different groups living in the same house.
Wow. That's crazy.
I know.
That is so funny. Because, man, only in DayZ. It does. It sounds like the Old Town compound. That's funny. Oh my goodness.
I'm just like, how did this happen?
Man, that is insane. I mean, because you gotta have the code to the lock. I don't know.
Yeah, that means at least 2 of these parties had that code, because when they woke up, they didn't have that code, and they're trying to get their guys out of the base by breaking the door.
I mean, I know.
But we settled things. They agreed to move somewhere else, all peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just still something.
Man, that's great. That's crazy. But it's one of the things, man, I love about this game too, man. It's like, it'll find ways to surprise you. And it's not always a bug or some crappy way to die or shooting off into space in a car. It's the people. It's the people, that make the server so great. So
it really is. Yeah.
But I'm really appreciating, by the way, everybody in chat. All the conversation here that I've seen has been on spot and on the point and been very productive, it seems. So I'm like, I really appreciate you guys for making this easy for me. I just mentioned that earlier. It's like this could be a nightmare, but it's not, because of you guys. You guys, even the game itself. I mean, just everything about it, man. It's all this community, man. It's
really
spot on.
It'd be
A+.
easy for all of us just to go shoot each other all the time, and it wouldn't be very difficult.
Yeah, it could be all the negative things that we sometimes feel like it is, and again, which is why I wanted to kind of bring up some of this stuff, because it's like, don't seethe over it, man. Don't feel like, gosh, the whole world's against me and you're just gonna eat all that crap, and it's not gonna taste good, is what I'm saying. And it's going to leave you bad breath. So when you're talking to other people, they're all going to be like, dude, this stinks, We don't want that. We don't want that. Have a breath mint. That's the moral. Have a breath mint. So when you're talking to people, they experience how lovely everything. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I mean, it all comes down to the community, and we've got to be able to talk. We've got to be able to hash things out, talk about our disagreements, and come together as a group of people who just want to have fun. And I mean, that's what we are. So let's do that.
Have fun in our own different styles of playing.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, humans don't taste good. I don't know. I really don't think that humans would taste very good, and it's because we treat ourselves so crappy. It's not like we're out grazing in a field all day. If we spend our whole lives grazing in a field, maybe there would be an argument to be made for it. But I'm a cook. I'm a home cook. I love it. I come up with all kinds of recipes and stuff. But I have thought about it, not actually trying human meat, but I was like, man, I don't even know if I could spice it up enough to make it good. I'm not like a big game animal eater either. So I'm not. I mean, I'm really not a big like bison burgers and stuff. I don't have a taste for it. Not really. I've eaten venison. Now venison I'm good for. Muskrat I've had. Rabbit, certain survival type foods I've had.
Like?
What's that?
I really like gator.
Gator. Not try
Yeah,
gator.
I really liked it.
I should fix that. I should fix
I
that.
would describe it as a taste between chicken and fish.
Now that's interesting.
Yeah, I really liked gator.
Now I'll tell you, we there's a Japanese grocery store. My youngest son is really into Japanese stuff right now, especially with like games and anime and stuff. And so we decided to take him to this Japanese grocery store. And actually, I was kind of meaning to talk about some of this stuff on stream. I don't even know if I'm holding this up right. This is actually an incredibly good candy. It's kumquat hard candy. It's super good. But anyway, my wife loves shrimp, and so she decided to try shrimp chips. I don't know how they make them. The first thing I would tell you is that if you ever try shrimp chips, do not smell the bag because it is awful. It smells like seafood that's been sitting on the dock all day, and I'm being polite.
Oh.
You don't want to smell it. Now you taste it. It tastes like shrimp, and that's weird. And I didn't like it either. She loved it. I didn't like it, but I'm not a big shrimp. I'll eat shrimp, and it's all good. But it was just weird. It was weird to have that texture of a chip, and it actually looks kind of like a skinny Cheeto. But it was weird to get that flavor with that texture. I didn't like the two. It didn't work out for me. But yeah, it's weird. But man, oh my God, Japanese candy is delicious. Like, oh, I definitely love it. It's good. Especially these little kumquat things are fantastic. Which is neat because I got to learn about kumquats, which I always just thought was just
what that is.
Exactly. Neither did I. I actually thought it was just a funny named fruit, right? Which it is a funny named fruit. But it's interesting because it's citrus. It's very orangey, but apparently they're the size of olives. And then actually, because we had to look this up, we had to learn about them. They're like the size of olives. And a lot of people actually don't even like the juice. You just pop the whole thing, peel and all in your mouth. And apparently the really good flavor is in the peel, not the juice inside. So who knew? I guess Japanese people. I didn't know. But yeah, man, I'd eat these things all day long. Good stuff.
I'm Googling them now. I'm like, kumquat.
Yeah.
What is?
Yeah, it's cool. They look on the picture. They look like orange colored mangoes. It's kind of they're like mango shaped, but they're oranges with a peel. I don't know. Yeah, but my wife was reading an article. She was like, yeah, sometimes people will actually squeeze the juice out and then eat what was left of it because the juice is kind of bitter. Kind of odd because like oranges, it's the juice that's actually good. You don't want to eat orange peels. I mean, you can. But, I wouldn't.
That's the best part is the peel, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Peels, all that. You eat them.
Oh, man. Well, I would say the conversation is definitely wound down a bit. We got about, 15 minutes or so left. I mean, anything else that you, might want to talk about? Or anybody in chat? Guys. Bring it up, man. Let's see. Alex says is it vegan friendly though? No animal cruelty. And what? Humans eating humans? Yeah. I mean, it depends. I mean, humans are animals, so I guess not, technically, but gator hamburgers are good. Man, I'm gonna have to try gator. It sounds interesting. I'm surprised I haven't, to be honest with you, but yeah, whatever. My wife's been into this thing now. I mean, because we're she's hitting middle age, the young side of middle age. I'm kind of at the older side of middle age, but she watches. I know, man, it's a boomer thing, but she watches like Food Network and stuff all the time, and so she's started making a list, not necessarily a bucket list, but that's what she called it, but a big list of all these different foods that she's wanted to try. And I've been very fortunate because she puts all this time and effort into it. I'm the kind of guy, I'm a little boring. If I go to a restaurant and I try a dish that I really like, I'm going to go back. That's what I'm going to order the next time I go back because I already know that I'm going to like it. Why waste the time and energy not knowing, whatever. I do try new things.
Recommend.
But, yeah, somebody's got to recommend something, whatever. So now I've got to try all these new things because she's really into it. So that's fantastic.
You need to try fresh pineapples from Hawaii.
Really?
They taste very different from pineapples in the store.
Huh.
They are incredibly sweet, and I don't know how to describe it. It's think like pineapples, just like super sweet pineapples.
Yeah. Huh.
Different flavor. They were amazing. If I
That's
could, I
interesting.
would eat those all the time.
That's well, you know, we were talking about clams or oysters yesterday. We were watching, what was it? One of the not Delicious Destinations or something, Food Network show, and yeah, you know, I was like, you know, just clams and oysters just really don't appeal to me. Like I've had a raw oyster once. I don't like the texture. It's kind of like just something globby and gross going down my throat. I'm not really into that. Now, here's the thing though, is that I'd think about it. It's like, you know, if I grew up on the coast with all the crackheads, I would probably like, I'm sorry. All right, you know where I was going with that. But no, like for real though. I mean, you know, if I grew up on the coast in real life, you know, and that's what we ate all the time, I'm sure I would love it. You know, I'm sure that it would probably be like the thing that I would have. I like seafood and I like fish and I like, you know, all that, but I just don't like it all the time. But again, if that's what I grew up with, I would probably have a whole different opinion on it. So I try not to knock things that I know people like because, I mean, hell, man, we're all introduced to things how we are. You know, and it goes. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, Harvey, I'm the same way. Boomer. I have no problem going to almost any restaurant, but I'll probably order one thing every time. Yeah. You know, it's a bummer when you go and you order something, man, because it happens. And I'll be like, you know what? I'm going to try something different today. That's it. I'm trying something new. And I'll get it and I'll try it and I'll be like, man, I wish I had just gotten that burger. Like,
you ever had fish eggs?
Like caviar fish eggs?
Yeah. Yeah, caviar.
I must have tried it. It must have been something that I've tried, but maybe I was really young and didn't really remember it. I don't think it made an impression on me if I did.
I think they're all right, but I think they get overhyped.
Yeah.
It's one of those. I think they're okay. Like if you like seafood, you'll like them, but I think they're overhyped.
Let me tell you something, if you don't mind. Right now, there's this thing from Japan. Okay, it's called Wagyu beef. If you've never heard of it,
I don't know what that is either.
It is incredibly pampered in. I mean, this is kind of like if you ever imagine like a cow being like massaged. You know, like it's really pampered. In fact, when they sell this meat, it comes with like certificates of authenticity and the whole thing. We were watching a show. They were talking about it in Vegas. They were selling it for $25 an ounce. An ounce. Wow. I mean, you're talking like a little square for $25. Just this. But the thing of it is, it's like, you know, most of the flavor in meat comes from the fat. So I'm watching him cut this steak up, and I'm like, where's the beef? Like, for real, it's like all white inside. It's because it's mostly marbling and fat. Now, I understand that's where the flavor comes from, but, you know, it's like, to me, it's like chicken wings, man. It's like, I love chicken wings. I like, you know, hot wings and whatnot. But, man, as the prices go up, I'm like, dude, keep your bones. I don't want, you know.
Wow, that is mostly fat.
Yeah, you're looking at it right now, right?
Yeah.
And I bet it is delicious, man. But it's just like, you know, I could just eat gristle off my steak at home and spend $10 for like, you know, a 5-ounce steak, you know, $5 for 1 ounce.
I imagine the actual meat part is amazing, but it looks very fatty.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure it's good. I'm sure it's gotta be delicious, you know, but I don't know, man. I don't live that life, man. You know, I was like, well, I guess if I go to Vegas and I win like 30 grand, you know, then maybe I'd be willing to throw down like $300 on a steak. I don't know. Maybe. I still can't imagine. I would think that it would give me heartburn. It makes me uncomfortable just thinking.
Are you ready for these prices?
Oh yeah. Let's have it.
It's looking from $100 to $400.
Wow. For how much? What does it say? Because you figure, man, $25 an ounce, right? Most steaks, like you go out to a steakhouse, a small steak is going to be like 6 ounces is a small steak.
10 ounces is $150.
I mean, come on, man. That's cool, man. I mean, people that can live that way, I guess, you know, it's up to them. I don't know, man. I don't want to get into the social disparities. We've talked about those before at the end of the gaming workshop, but my goodness, man.
I've actually might have eaten this once.
Have you?
I think I have, and I gotta say, it's all right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't much on it.
Well, now that I've had it, I mean, yeah, it's okay.
I'm pretty sure I had this once when I went to Canada.
Nice.
Something very similar.
Nice.
And it was not worth the price. That's all I gotta say.
That's exactly right. A good ribeye is all you need. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is all you need.
Absolutely. I'll tell you one thing before we go, even though it's not Doug related at all, is that's one thing. Like a lot of people say, oh man, it's a good meat. All you need is a little salt and pepper. It's good to go. All right. They're like, oh, if it's good steak, you don't really need to do anything to it. It's already going to be good. That's true. Okay. I'm a meat eater. It's absolutely true. But there's nothing wrong with making it a little better. And I kind of feel like we can do that sometimes with some seasonings. It's weird. Why would I choose one restaurant over another if they both just throw the meat on the grill and that's it, and they serve it the same thing, the same way? I mean, I don't know. That's why I like to develop recipes myself. I mean, my burger recipe is definitely not just burger. It's probably about 8 different spices and some Worcestershire sauce. And so, it's like, it tastes completely different than a regular hamburger, but my family loves it, and I like it. I can eat a regular hamburger and, I can actually tell, I can go get pay like, $20 for a hamburger and it's, right. Really good. But
Boomer, this is what you're going to do. You're going to start a burger shop and you're going to sell burgers to the entire Doug community. All right.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Oh, butter, dude. Oh my God, man. So they started opening Culver's around here. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Culver's, but they're known for their butter burgers. And I got to tell you, I mean, butter. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, I live in the South. We eat fried food and all that crap all the time. I mean, come on, man. You can tell I've got the physique for it, right? But my God, butter on a burger is just like the best thing ever. Like, I mean,
I've never actually eaten that.
It is so good.
I've never even heard of putting butter on a burger.
It really, and it's gotta be like the worst thing in the world you could do to a burger for you. But man, it tastes so good.
More southern thing.
Not really. Well, Culver's is from Wisconsin.
Really?
I gotta say it that way. Wisconsin. Yeah, it's from Wisconsin. And because they have like cheese curds and all that kind of stuff. I think that's I think that was a Wisconsin thing too, or in that area, or whatever. But yeah, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah, Wisconsin. Anyway, yeah, they weren't from Georgia. I live in Georgia. They weren't from here, and they just started sprouting up all over the place, and now I can't get enough of it. It's super delicious.
I've never had this before. I'm kind of a bit mind blown. I've never even heard of this.
Oh, you should try it. You should see if you have a Culver's wherever you are. I mean, because I mean, I'm sure that there are better, like, because it's a chain fast food place. Okay, so it is what it is. Usually, sometimes you can find in like a real restaurant some things that are a little better. But yeah, I'm down with it. We have Steak and Shake down here, and those used to be good. They remind me kind of Steak and Shake burgers because they're like flat and wide, but I mean, God, they're so flavorful, man. It's ridiculous. I would triple in size if I worked at a Culver's or owned a Culver's franchise. It would be bad for me. Absolutely. That's right. Next episode of the Gaming Workshop, we're cooking. You know what would really be fun? I've actually, although I guess it would be kind of boring with the recipes in game, but it would be kind of neat to have like a Doug cooking.
I wish.
Show. That would be really, awesome. That would be pretty interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I wish that was a thing.
Man, I'm going to tell you as we wind down, one of the things that really drove me nuts when I first started playing DayZ, right? It was on Doug. I mean, I spent like maybe 10 hours on other servers and then the rest of it's all been Doug, because once you've experienced the best, why bother wasting your time with anything else, right? But I was like, I know this isn't going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. And I had me a cooking pot. And I had me a steak, and I had me some vegetables, and I had me some water. And man, I'll tell you right now, I sure did try to cook me up some beef stew. And you just ended up with boiled separated ingredients. But man, I thought that would have been cool as hell. If I put all that in a pot and cooked it, and it just became like one meal, I'd been like, yeah. That would have been so cool.
I just found out the closest Culver's to me is in Ohio.
Oh, well, that.
And I live in PA.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
That wouldn't do any good. But I'd be surprised if you couldn't find you a Butterburger somewhere. Somewhere, somehow, some way.
Yep.
All right, guys. I guess we're going to wind it down. Scorpion, man, thank you so much for coming to keeping me company today. I don't know what I would have talked about.
Welcome.
I don't know what I would have talked about for like half the show if it wasn't for you, man. So I do really appreciate it. And everybody else, next week, what am I doing next? Next week, we are going to have Edward Hill and Kane for sure, and maybe a couple others, and we're going to talk about religious roleplay. It's going to be interesting, man, because you know I play a religious character myself. There's actually a lot of things involved with this you might not consider, like the fact that we're supposed to keep real life things out of game, and for some reason the religious aspect really just hasn't been much of a problem. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about just basically what it's like trying to play a religious character or somebody. I mean, it's really not as easy as you think. Most of these topics, I always keep saying, it's not as easy as you think. Because it's not. I'm not making that up. But anyway, we're gonna do that. We're gonna have a religious roleplay episode. We're also gonna have coming up soon a Stash Life episode. Keeping it real on the run, and these are just more fun things to come on the Gaming Works side. Yeah. And guys, if there's any topics you guys have that you might want to see really explored and investigated on this show with us, man, and talked about, man, please feel free to let me know. We'll get it going. Alex doesn't believe in God or God. See, he needs to spend a little more time with Alessandro, man. Alessandro will get you set up straight. That's it, yeah. But time zones and all that. So. Anyway, guys, all right, man, we're gonna run this down. Thank you guys so much again, everybody who came and participated. My gosh, bro, thank you so much for all the gifted subs. I know the people that received them are very grateful for it too. I'll just tell you right now, I'm trying to come up with something extra to do for people who have subscribed, and I'm looking for suggestions in that as well. Oh, thank you, Scorpion, for the follow. But
I don't know why I wasn't followed.
Dude, I do that. I do that all the time. I actually went through and followed a bunch of people, Jermaine and Tedic. I don't know how I wasn't following Tedic. I mean, but I went through and followed a bunch of people the other day just to make sure. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that one too. But it just is what it is. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon and in game and all that good stuff, and whatever. All right. Oh, wait. Just in case, one more time. That's how you can reach me on the character. I always forget to do that stuff. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube. This is probably the first time I've ever mentioned it. 9 episodes. Yeah, man, the subscriptions really help because they're free on YouTube. So anyway, all right, guys, take it easy. Out of here. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's loud as hell.
What is
the music? There we go. For me, it was super loud. I don't know. All right, later, guys.